Shalom, family. Good to see you all here. Hope you're doing well. Just a reminder everything in all three of my stores TikTok Shop, Etsy, and Shopify 45% off starting today through the 7th. So grab your products, and plus, I added three new products: Chebe Botanical Shampoo, Chebe Hair Growth Oil, and Chebe Pomade. So you will see them when you go out on the site, and the brand new items are also 45% off. All right. So we're going to talk about this declaration of emergency that Donald Trump just issued because America right now don't have enough fertilizer. And that's going to be a game changer as far as food that's produced in this country. If there's not enough fertilizer, then it's going to be pretty hard for Americans. You're going to start going into the supermarket and you're not going to see everything in there. So it's going to be a lot of things missing because it does require fertilizer in order to grow. So Donald Trump also ruined a lot of things with other countries over those tariffs. The tariffs play a huge role, and also why there is a shortage. Many countries did not take kindly to Donald Trump putting those tariffs on. So there are countries that, after Donald Trump threw all those tariffs around globally, they stopped doing business with the US. They refuse. And Donald Trump has not been truthful about the Straits of Hormuz because he tried to make it seem like we really don't need anything from them. That's a lie. The fertilizer comes out of there. And America does need the fertilizer because, see, the rich people in this country sent all the jobs overseas. So now there's not a lot of fertilizer that's produced in America, not enough to cover all of these farmers out here. So, because he did all those tariffs, now he's trying to pause the tariffs. And it's kind of a day late and a buck short. You shouldn't have put those tariffs out there at all. So now he's trying to get the fertilizer here. And I don't know, the way everything is going between Iran and America, y'all, things aren't going well at all. I may have to do an update on what's going on, but things are not going well at all between the US and Iran. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay, please give me a 1 if you can see my screen. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And if they've declared it, that means it's far worse than we already know. Basically, there's not enough fertilizer to meet all of our agricultural needs, so they're suspending tariffs on fertilizers coming into the country. Now, you know that they don't do anything until it is way overdue. So this is going to affect us some way, somehow. You need to have water, food, and emergency medical supplies. It's not too late to start prepping. I know it may seem overwhelming, but the Personal Prepping and Survival Planner is going to help you get everything together with low stress. Comment PREP to get the link. The Personal Prepping and Survival Planner is your go-to guide with everything you need to be as prepared as possible.
Donald Trump has declared essentially a food supply emergency and has lifted all tariffs and duties on phosphate fertilizer coming in from Morocco. This news isn't being widely reported, but it's significant. Due to the war in Iran, tariffs, other trade practices, and more, the United States food supply was potentially at risk given the fact that the United States is not producing enough fertilizer. And so this week, the Trump administration signed a declaration lifting all levies and tariffs on Moroccan phosphate fertilizer for a period of up to 8 months. And in that declaration, the president admitted that the United States isn't producing enough fertilizer and American companies simply can't do it fast enough at this time. And so as a result, we're now going to start importing fertilizer from Morocco without any duties, without any taxes, tariffs, any of that. It's a pretty significant development that not many people are talking about. Spread the word so that other people know, and follow along, stay up to date on all the news you need to know about. More to come soon. Donald Trump has declared essentially a food supply emergency and has lifted all tariffs and duties on phosphate fertilizer coming in from Morocco.
Just to clear some things up, this was not a food supply emergency. This was a fertilizer supply emergency for the next planting season, so the 2027 harvest. And you may remember me telling you kind of early on during the war with Iran that a lot of the effects of that take quite a while to be realized. 3, 6, 9, 12 months away, we would start seeing the impact of that. And that's what this is. That's what this is trying to prevent. 2 months ago, I told you it's not this harvest we're worried about. It's the next harvest we're worried about. That's where the shortages could come. That's where the huge food inflation could come. We're not having food shortages. And as far as the food inflation and the greatly reduced crop yields that could be coming, we will see what happens next harvest. We will see the actual impact of that.
The fertilizer crisis is a food crisis. Farmers need fertilizer to grow food. We're short on fertilizer because a third of the world's fertilizer trade goes through the Strait of Hormuz. What's going on with that third? The outcomes of a brand new forever war. Since the strike started, the strait has been a revolving door of blockades. Iran shutting it down, the U.S. running its own naval blockade, ceasefires that fall apart in days. And unlike oil, there's no pipeline workaround for fertilizer. So prices are up. Urea basically doubled at one point, and 70% of American farmers said they couldn't afford all the fertilizer they needed this year. With the fertilizer supply now and in the near future in chaos, in jeopardy, severely affected by this war, so is the food supply. Long story short, the longer he stays in this war, despite what Congress demands with war power votes, despite what the people demand in the face of higher prices across the board, the deeper the fertilizer supply and therefore the food supply sinks into jeopardy. Experts are saying this is already a situation that takes at least a couple years to fully recover from, let alone if we let him continue the war at this rate. Share this video with someone who needs to see it. I cover news, politics, and current events. Shoot me a follow to stay up to date.
So in the last 24 hours, our president has announced that he's calling a global emergency on food supply. And I knew that was coming, and so did a whole lot of other people. A lot of us work in global trade or in industries that understand how trade works, understands the impacts of war, and understand the things that can downstream impact every single producer. And of course, he's doing this emergency because of the fertilizer that we can't get because of the war. And a lot of us have been telling you to prepare for a year, over a year, actually. A lot of us started clear back in January 2025 or before, because we knew his policies and his rhetoric was going to lead to this kind of situation. And here we are. Now, I and many other creators talk about gardening, talk about preserving, talk about canning. I'm not as prolific as a lot of people because I do talk other topics like politics, but I do grow heavily and I do share how to do things. Mostly what I focus on is disease and critters and partner planting and things like that, and give you an update. If you have a question, I'm more than willing to share with you how I do it, because I've been growing a garden for 11 years in this house, in this particular state. And I'm in Nebraska, southern Nebraska. I'm in Lincoln. But I have been gardening my whole life in Illinois too, as well as here, because we are originally from Illinois. I've been doing this a long time, and we are a good resource for you. But it is advisable to learn those skills, because his policy is going to impact us. He's done a lot of bad moves, the war, his tariffs. He messed with the global system. None of us were fear mongering. A lot of us understood trade. A lot of us understood what this was going to do. So now it's time for you to get serious about what are you going to do to protect your house and make sure you have food.
Yeah, so now this is one more thing for people to have to consider preparing, because it's no telling if this country will ever get enough fertilizer, you know. And you got to look, a lot of these European nations, they are also, there's reports coming out about them struggling for fertilizer as well. So since the Strait of Hormuz have been open and closed multiple times, it's going to be shortages worldwide, y'all. Worldwide, there's going to be shortages of fertilizer now. So it's not just the United States, it's really going to hit on a global level. So, y'all, we just have to lean on the Most High. We'll get through it. We always get through the tough times. And this country prepared us very well for the tough times. So, yeah, they do. And, Christopher, that's why the Most High is going to get these people out of power. He's got to. They have ruined so many things. How do you just let them remain in power? I was too through when they said the country's insolvent. And we know darn well we sure didn't do it. No, the ones that are insisting on being in power, those are the ones that cause that to happen. And, the only thing we have to do is try to get through it the best that we can. But yeah, you got a lot of people online crying, and these farmers are already, there's videos all on YouTube and TikTok of these farmers crying about not having enough fertilizer. So those videos are already out there. They've been out there for probably damn near a year. There are farmers saying they don't have enough fertilizer for their crops. So it's already happening. We don't have to wait for it to happen. It's already happening. So y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. We're going to talk about the upcoming event in Washington, D.C., America 250th year anniversary, and how the turnout has been low. They have been having the Great American Fair down there for about a week in Washington, D.C., and the turnout is extremely low. Tiny crowds. They've been trying to do concerts and nobody is there, but all the singers and bands are unknowns because he couldn't get the professional people. So we will talk about that, and I will show you some actual video of people that have went down there and posted the videos online showing you that virtually, if there's 1,000 people in the picture, that's a lot. It literally looks like a few hundred people showed up and that's it. So I will see you at 5:45, ladies and gentlemen. Have a wonderful afternoon. Shalom, family.